Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Coach Harry Show. Thank you. Kendall, Grayson with you as always. Coach Harry with you as always. And Michael Mania is our guest this week.
One of these days, I'm going to get a bigger cheer than the players. I don't know. I'm not sure.
But that was the loudest one yet.
That might have been the loudest. I'm not sure.
Mikey, what do you think? Glad to be here?
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Okay. Coach, we've got a lot to talk about here on the show. We had the games this past weekend. We also have some roster moves to tell you about, and those are going to be live later in the week when the show is posted, but we'll go ahead and get to those now. So I know you've been very busy the last few days, busy this morning, busy this afternoon. So tell the folks about some of the moves you made here in the last couple of days.
Well, this has been, we've talked about this quite a bit so far. It's been a different year. I guess transition's the best way to put it with some of the guys retiring. And so we brought in a bunch of players, and you got to find the right mix. And right now, as I said, I like the direction we're going in. Is it exactly where we want to be? I'm not sure. Only time will tell. And today, it's one of those days. It's not a great day. I let Sergey go today. It was one of those moves where, as I said, we got a lot of defensemen. I just brought in today. Also, I signed Josh LaBelle. So there's 1 and 1, and then Josh Schlagers I let go here today also. So it was one of those days. As I said, you're not happy about it, but those things happen. And then the last one was Hippo. I traded him to Indiana. So for a player to be named later. And these are moves. It's not a great day. As I said, I've told you before, I hope I never lose the emotion part in it, but it's still a business. It's still a process of trying to get better. And these guys that I either let go today or I traded today, they all came in. They were great kids. They worked hard, and sometimes you just got to change things up. So as I said, we made some moves today, and I believe in my heart that we're going in the right direction. Only time will tell, but as I said, you make moves like this to be better, and that's what we're trying to do.
And the games this past weekend, you've got the loss on the road, the win on home ice. We'll talk about those in depth later on. But just very quickly, overall, what you think about the weekend?
Well, I like to say that things have changed since last weekend. We talked on Tuesday. I think was it Tuesday we played. It was a couple weeks ago. We played Monday or talked on Monday, but. Again, mixed emotions. We went from high on Saturday to probably our lowest point on Friday night, probably the last period of the game. And but these are things that you learn as a group, and when we went along, and as you said, we'll get into Friday night and Saturday, but really mixed emotional weekend for us. Some things, Saturday night after the game, I'm sitting there thinking, boy, we're going in the right direction. But Friday night after the game, I didn't know what direction we were going in. So I like the response, but again, we'll get into it. And as I said, it's one of those weekends where when you go emotionally from here to here, a lot of times it's draining on you. It's draining on the players because they don't want to have to go through that. And so hopefully we can level the playing field out a little bit more coming up. And as I said, I believe right now with the group that we got that I think things will go that way.
All right, well, that's our opening segment for the Coach Harry Show tonight. Thanks for joining us. We'll step aside and come back to talk about the games. Thank you. When you're craving that slow smoke flavor done right here in Winston-Salem, there's only one place to go, Honky Tonk Smokehouse. From tendered pulled pork and fall-off-the-bone ribs to fresh house-made sides, Honky Tonk has it all. Not a meat lover? They've got delicious vegan options too. And when it's time to party, let Honky Tonk Smokehouse handle the catering and event planning. They'll bring the flavor to you. Stop by 145 Jonestown Road and taste why the locals here can't get enough. Honky Tonk Smokehouse.
What are you doing, bub?
Just fixing my chair.
You should call Contract Business Solutions.
Good idea. I'll give them a call.
Proudly serving the Piedmont Triad area for over 17 years, Contract Business Solutions partners with leading manufacturers to create innovative, budget-friendly workspaces. From design and layout to delivery and installation, explore our capabilities at cbsworkspaces.com. Looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate around Winston-Salem and the Triad? Meet Jennifer Sapp, your trusted local realtor. With nearly 30 years of deep experience, Jennifer specializes in everything from historic homes and remodels to investment properties, college town housing, and short sales. She's known for honesty, integrity, and making the process as stress-free as possible. Ready to make your move? Call 336-782-3148 or visit jensapprealty.com today.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Coach Harry Show. Thank you. All right, Coach. Let's get into the Friday game there. You mentioned that was maybe a low point so far at the the early point of the season here. We can get into it and how it went up there, but a couple of goals there in the first period, you fall behind. And then it looked like things started to really slip away in the second period. You cut it to 2-1, got that power play goal from Whitey. Just give us your thoughts there, the early parts of that game.
Well, we again, something about Friday nights, and we're talked about that this week here a little bit, and we haven't started Friday nights off very well, and we're trying to figure out the right remedy for that, and the players are going to have to find it from within too, and I'm going to have to maybe be a little tougher in situations and try and change things up. And we fell behind, and honestly, for Friday night's game, I think if I look at it, I think maybe the first 30 minutes of the game, 34 minutes of the game, it was okay. We're down 2-1, and then we got a penalty, and then it just kind of imploded after that. But the first 34 minutes or 35 minutes, I didn't mind our game. Was I happy about being down 2-0 right away? No. But we responded. We came back. I thought we were kind of rolling there again, and then it was a situation where. And again, I'm not blaming the refs, but I don't think we got a fair shake on some things. But it's the way we reacted to a lot of the situation, and we'll get into that here a little bit. But as I said, the first 35 minutes, I thought we played pretty well. I didn't mind it. I knew it was going to be a tough game in there. Every time we go in there, it's always tough. So I thought we were going in the right direction. And then, as I said, it seemed like the rug kind of got pulled out from under us there, and we kind of imploded a little bit.
And you mentioned, talking about that, and Luke Dobles ends up getting the suspension, and it just same thing, just sort of unraveled from there. Could you see that coming? Was that something that sort of surprised you once that happened? And once you're going through it, how'd you respond to that?
Well, we called a timeout there, and I was probably a little animated, I guess, if people want to say that's the way I was. We just didn't handle it very well, and it's unusual because normally we're pretty good about of those situations, and I think just our emotions got caught up in it, and I thought we were pressing there in the second period, and then when you start pressing, and then things didn't go our way, as I said, score-wise, and then all of a sudden, the penalty started adding up, and then as I said, we just didn't handle it emotionally very well, and that's something that we're going to have to work on, and you can't do that when you're a good team. You can't do that when your heart's beating 150 beats a minute. You got to still be in control of your game. And the one thing I've always tried to tell, and I tried to tell the players the other day, the refereeing, and not just in our league. If you go to a National Hockey League game, I think I told the story that I went to a Stars game one night, and 20,000 people were, saying something to the referee that I can't say here right on the air, but you know what I mean. But and you look at the playoffs. A lot of the people talk about the NHL about the refereeing isn't very good. So you get more with honey than you do with vinegar. And as I said, it's a lesson well learned for us that you're not going to change things, and the only thing you can do is handle it. Do I like it? I told the guys the other day, it's not something that I wasn't happy either, the way that it was going. And some nights those things happen. Some nights it's for us. But, that night it wasn't for us. But as I said, it's how you handle those situations. And, maybe age comes with a little more wisdom, or I'm not sure. I don't know if it's wisdom. That's probably not the great word for it. But, just being around a long time and learning that you can't change it, so no sense beating your head against the wall.
Mikey, as a player, he just talked about the heart's beating, whatever beats per minute it may be. What do you try to do as a player to remain calm in those situations? And, I'd imagine that whether you're leading, whether you're down, you try to remain the same over the course of the games. Or anything that, you try to do specifically?
You really just want to take a step back and just kind of stay calm, cool, collected, kind of, and just really just like I said, take a step back and really like analyze like what's going on in the game and notice like it's not going our way with the refs. So really don't be yelling things at them or kind of stay away from that.
What takes you out of your game? As soon as you start to do that and yelling at the ref and complaining about this and complaining about that, it takes you right out of your game, and that's not what you want. You want to stay in the moment. You want to stay in the game, and those things just it doesn't help you. So I just noticed, I never thought about it. Like, I'm a Blue Jay fan, and he's wearing a New York Yankee hat, and we might have to talk about that tomorrow morning at practice. Like, if you're going to come on here, you better be wearing a Blue Jay or something from the Thunderbirds. But I just noticed that, so I'll mark that down for him tomorrow. It could be a long practice for him tomorrow with a New York Yankee hat on, and I'm a Blue Jay fan.
That's what I'll make sure I watch tomorrow. So, and I'm just looking at our notes here. You get down at that point, but I think some teams might have said, "Hey, this is not going to be our night. It's 5-1, 6-1, whatever it is." But you're able to get a couple of goals. And, not that you're really in that game in the third period, but I thought that was nice to at least get some things rolling in the right direction. Because obviously, when you come home for Saturday, it's a much different story. But just talk about how that game played out there at the end. Gus Ford scores a goal. Jan Salak scores that late power play goal with under a minute. I thought those were some nice moments to kind of go into Saturday with.
Well, at the end of the second period, I think I said enough on the bench that we didn't really need to say a lot, and all I kind of said at the end of the second period is we'll show our character here, and we'll show what we were made of, and as not just as an individual. And I've said it once already. I've probably said it 20 times this year about that when you're looking and you're brushing your teeth, that guy in front, don't do something against him that you don't want to be done. And so, put your best foot forward. We got 20 minutes, and whatever the results are at the end, you can feel good about yourself if you gave your heart out for the 20 minutes. Win, lose, or draw, that's all you can ask for. You can't, when you go home, at least, you did what you had to in the third period. And then the great thing about sports is, less than 24 hours later, you got a chance to redeem yourself. So I think the guys stood up, and I really was really happy the way that they came out in the third and continued to work. But again, as I said, once you've dug yourself in a hole, it's a hard thing to come out of.
So that was the Friday night game. We'll take another break, come back and talk about Saturday. Thank you.
Two pillows, endless possibilities. At Cotton & Crate, we make it easy to refresh your home season after season. Our 18x18 and 12x20 pillow sizes pair perfectly with our seasonal collections of interchangeable covers, so you can refresh your style anytime without cluttering up your closet. We're proud to team up with the Twin City Thunderbirds, celebrating hometown spirit and the comfort of home on and off the ice. Thunderbirds fans, enjoy $5 off your order at cottonandcrate.com with the code TBIRDS5OFF. Cotton & Crate, two pillows, endless possibilities.
Gwin Services has been serving North Carolina for over 50 years, ensuring the safety and comfort of our customers' homes. We take pride in bringing together the best electricians, plumbers, and heating and cooling technicians to bring convenience and unbeatable value to our customers. Life can be hectic. What better way to simplify than to have one company you trust to take care of all of your home's repair needs? Since 1972, integrity and customer satisfaction have been at the heart of everything we do. We are proud to have built a name our neighbors trust, one that provides peace of mind and a service that can be relied on, today, tomorrow, and for years to come. Thank you for trusting Gwin Services with your home. We are proud to stand behind the work we do every single day to serve our friends and neighbors here in North Carolina. We are Gwin Services. One call does it all.
Being your best is hard. You gotta take care of yourself. You got your husband.
Let's put in a pool. For the kids.
For the kids. Forget the car. How about a motorcycle?
And if you own a business?
We need servers from, like, this century.
Yeah.
At a Legacy Federal Credit Union, we're committed to helping you be your best you. Whether it's with an unbeatable car loan rate, home equity line of credit, or small business help.
Who's the best?
Visit alegacy.org for our best rates.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Coach Harry Show. Thank you. So Coach, we talked about the Friday night game in Blue Ridge. Now we'll turn around to the home game on Saturday night. We were just talking here off the air, but the whole game, I think, had a much different feel to it the next night. There's no scoring in the first period. No penalties were called in the first period. And then the second period, you get on the power play 3 times. There was the minor penalty, then the major penalty that you scored twice on. But you look at the score sheet at the end of the night, all the damage is done on the scoreboard there in the second period. You win the game. Certainly wasn't over at that point. There was a lot of good hockey that you guys played there in the third and had the empty net at the end that you had to deal with for a full 2 minutes, I think it was. But a much different game and a much different result there on Saturday night.
Well, I just like the way we responded. I don't know if I want to say I challenged the guys, but I think they just we're finding our way. We're trying to put this together, and it's like a puzzle. Sometimes you put a piece in, you think, and you try to jam it in, and it just doesn't work. And so we're trying to put this puzzle together right now, and just some nights it just seems like the puzzle fit, the pieces fit really nice, and other nights it doesn't fit. And that night there, I like the way we were on the bench. I like the way, just in the dressing room before the game, when you walk in, you can tell where the mood was, and I just kind of had a good feeling. And as I said, we came out, and I liked the first period. I knew it was going to be a good game. They came in, they had a little bit of swagger. They thought, that they had their feathers out that night there after beating us the night before. So I think they, as I said, the way we responded in the first period, it was a great hockey game. I think both teams played well, but I just like the way we handled things, the way we played together. We had some opportunities. Defensively, I thought we played pretty well. So at the end of the first period, I was very happy that we got out of that period not down 2-0 like we have been, but just the way we responded.
So second period, Yuri scores on the power play. You get the goal from Whitey and Liam Blomqvist. Again, the power play has certainly had its ups and downs so far this season, but it was really nice from my perspective to see them score. I'm sure it was nice for you. Have you been changing anything, or has it just been all of a sudden it's working a little bit more?
Well, I think the guys figure it out, and we've changed some things up. I think Mikey's been on both power plays. We've had Schnappy was out on Friday, and then he's in Saturday. So we had Yuri at the top, then we had Carter at the top. The other power play, we had a couple of different guys down and up and down, and so we really haven't had the consistency of players where they want to be. That's still no excuse. We still got to produce, but we just weren't clicking. We weren't shooting when we should be shooting. We weren't doing some things that you need to do on the power play, and I think with Timu now, Smirnoff coming in, he kind of he's a power play guy. He sees the ice. He's got great vision, and now he's playing with the 2 checks, and I'm not sure who else right now, but just the way they click a little bit, and he's a heads up guy, and I just like the way they're starting to move and gel together. So no, it was great. Whenever you score 3 power play goals in a game, it's really nice, and as I said, I was glad that it got going, and that'll give us a lot of confidence.
You mentioned Smirnoff, and that's probably a player we should tell the fans about and talk about a little bit. He flew in on Thursday. You add him to the roster on Friday. So I know he was out there floating around this weekend, number 15, didn't have a name bar, and I'm sure some of the fans said, who is this guy? He was a late add to the roster there on Friday. So tell everyone about him and what you expect him to contribute. And we've already seen him contribute here last weekend.
No, he's a skilled guy, and he's learning the game. He's just a youngster like this one over here, and actually younger, and but he's got some skill. He can skate. He's got some vision, and he jumps up a little bit. He's really offensive in his mind, and so we're going to have to curb that just a little bit at times. But I just love the way he plays, the way he handles the puck, and he's got a lot of confidence with it. So. After 2 games, his ceiling's really high, and actually, the one thing I like about our team, all our young guys. You always talk about when you talk about a player, Mikey. The guys like our younger guys. Their ceiling is really high. There's a lot of room for improvement. Do I like the way they're playing now? Yeah, but there's room for improvement, and sometimes the older guys, they've been here for a few years. What you see is what you're going to get, and that's still pretty good. But as I said, what you're going to see is what you're going to get. I know the young guys are going to improve daily and get better. So, but Timu is going to be a big part of our team offensively and help push the puck up the ice.
So we go back to the Saturday game, and I know the power play goals is something that everyone's going to remember and think about. I also think about how well Dyson Skinner played in goal for you. I thought that was, I said on the air, maybe the best goaltending performance of either of the two that we've had this season. Boris has had some good efforts as well, but I just thought he was completely in control of that game, made 40 saves, and obviously was a huge piece why you won.
Well, the one thing that was disappointing on Friday night, and to come to his defense, I think, the guys let Boris down a little bit there. We didn't help him out, and and that I even mentioned that in the room. Like you got to help him out there, like with the penalties that we got, undisciplined penalties, and that doesn't help the goalie. And I still thought Boris had a good game. I know he'd like maybe have that one back, but I still thought he had a good game on Friday, and that's no consolation to a goalie. But I even said that in the room that we kind of left him out, out to dry, but. To get back to Saturday night, Skins, I think that's the first game I've seen him play this year that he looked comfortable. I don't know. I think I'm not sure actually how many games he's played now, maybe 4, I think. And he just hasn't looked as comfortable as he did last year when he was here. The effort was there, but he didn't look comfortable. And I'm not a goalie guy. I look at the way he is in the net, and the other night there, and I even told him on Monday, I just said, you just look like you're back to yourself, you're more calm, the way he stopped the puck and did things like that. So, and that's the way he played last year. He came in there and really jumped right off the bat and played like that. So maybe that's why we lost him so fast, but he did a great job. And as I said, so far we've had great goaltending. I can't complain about the goaltending. We've done a good job. As I said, unfortunately Friday night for Boris, we left him out to hang out to dry a little bit. But Saturday night, no, Skins played just a solid game, and that's what we expect out of him. It's not like I think we expect that every game out of him. And so far we've got, as I said, I know he's turned the ship around, and I think he feels better, which is great.
Mikey, the last couple of weeks you've been able to celebrate a win on home ice on Saturday night with the fans. I know you're new to the lineup this season and still getting to know everyone, and it's got to be nice to be able to celebrate those wins. And what's your experience been so far playing home games in front of these fans?
I mean, at school we didn't really have that many fans, so coming out here, I remember telling my first game I came out here, it was more fans during the pregame than my actual games, and I was like, holy shit, this is something different. But no, it's amazing going around after tapping the glass and everything, and we get a lot of support from fans and boosters and stuff, and to win in front of them and stuff is really good to like give back. But it's an amazing atmosphere and everything behind us. Love it.
Coach, before we move on, and we're going to get some fan questions, get to know Mikey a little bit better in the next segment, but before we move on, and we'll talk about the games coming up this next weekend as well, any last thoughts on Saturday night on the games this past week?
Well, we're building the house. That's the best way I can reference about a team coming together. We're building the house, and we're starting to get the foundation going here a little bit. Saturday, I still think we could have played better in the third. And with that saying that, it was still pretty good. But the guy behind the bench with the tie on sometimes wants things to be perfect, and if you don't want that, then shame on me. But as I said, I still think we're learning how to finish games off the way we should finish off, and that's the process. That's a process. You have to learn how to win as a team. You have to know not just win. Like we've won a few games, but we've won big most of the time. We've scored 5 goals, or and that, and now when it's a 3-0 or 3-1 hockey game, you got to know how to finish that off, and that's a whole different mindset. And until you go through it. I thought we handled it pretty good. Was it the way I wanted it to be all the time? No, but as I said, it's getting better. You look at our team the last couple of years here, we're going in the game 3-0 at the end of the second period, and basically you could have gone home because you knew it was probably over the way we normally would play. So, and that's the way we want to get to. And until you go through it, this is a different group. Until you go through it as a group, you don't know how you're going to handle it. And as I said, for the most part, I liked it. I didn't love it, but I liked it. And as I said, we're pushing to where the coach loves it. And as I said, that's just something that the more we do it, the better we're going to feel about ourselves and have the confidence into finishing it off. So, as I said, Saturday was, at the end of that game, as Mikey said, the guys going around tapping on the glass, that's a great feeling. And those are the things you don't want to lose. And so that's an even more motivation, like to do the things the right way. So, you get that pat on the back. I don't know if it's a pat on the back, but just that emotion that you want to have at the end of the game.
All right, everyone, those were the games this past weekend. We'll take a break, come back and do some fan questions. Thank you.
I want to stop losing sleep over this. I want to know that surgery is the right decision. I want to protect what I've built. I want a plan designed just for me. I want to know that I'm in excellent hands. I want the latest and greatest. I want to continue to grow, no matter what life throws my way.
For the best surgical care, you want Novant. Novant Health. Best surgeons, amazing nurses, remarkable care.
Maple Chase Golf and Country Club offers the best in recreational amenities in the Triad. Come enjoy a meal at the Pine Brook Bar and Grill, relax by our pool and cabana, and gear up at the Pro Shop while sharpening your skills on our 9,000 square foot putting green, and play around on our 18-hole Ellis Maples Design Championship Golf Course. You can find out more at maplechasecc.com. That's maplechasecc.com.
All right, everyone, welcome back to the Coach Harry Show. I'd like to start by wishing Angie another happy birthday. That's at least 2 this year, Coach. There may be some more.
I can't count. I don't have enough fingers and toes right now to count how many birthdays she's had. Some people like to celebrate birthdays. Some people go a little overboard, but that's okay.
That's all right. Okay, so a lot of these questions are going to be for Michael Mania, our guest tonight. I always like to ask this question just to start. Dial that back a little bit. How old were you when you first started playing hockey? How did you get into hockey?
I started roller hockey when I was 5, and then got into ice hockey when I was 8.
Okay, wow. We have a question here. I'm just going to go through these.
Just to kind of like this year here, a coach called me about him and said, are you looking for players? And we were, and he told me, I got a kid for you, and you'll really like him. And the first thing he said was, he's a great person. And so right away I was like, okay, I'm pretty intrigued. And then he says, no, he's also a pretty good hockey player. So both things have come true, and he's come in here so far and brought an energy for us. He does things for us. And the one thing that he's great in the locker room. The guys like him, and as I said, the one thing that he can do is he can play on almost any line, and so it's a great attribute. And like right now, he's playing in a situation, and I can put him with anybody, and he does a great job. And God gave him a pair of legs. As I told him the other day, if I had one of those, I'd be still playing hockey, for God's sakes. So he's got a lot of speed, but he brings a lot of intensity for us, a lot of energy, and that's what we need. And so far, he's done a great job.
I agree completely. Very nice. So we get this question a lot, Mikey. Who would you not want to room with on the road?
Schnapp. I love him. He's my roommate. I love him, but
he's gotten a few votes this year. I'll tell you that. Do you have any siblings?
Yeah, I got an older sister.
Okay.
Yeah.
How old is she? How much older?
She's 6 years or 5 years, depends on what. She's December.
Okay.
And then I'm July, so it depends.
Gotcha.
She's single?
She's single.
You better not bring her. The guys don't introduce him to a hockey player.
Speaking of, I think you got some fans. Someone wants to know: do you ever not smile because your smile is infectious?
No, it's hard. I kind of always smile.
He's got the mustache going too.
Yeah, I got that going. I don't really grow facial hair, so it's kind of hard for me. Not like that.
So we got a question about that down here. It says, Coach, what would it take to make you shave your face?
Oh, that's a good one.
Good question, right?
You know what? We win the championship, I'll shave it. That's the last. I was in France, and I had the big mustache at the time, and a couple other people had mustaches and things like that, and they said, well, would you ever shave it off? I said, if we win. And some people had to shave their heads, but I shaved. And so, yeah, if we win the championship, I'll shave it all off.
Wow, okay, heard it here. Mikey, do you have any pets?
I did. I had a German Shepherd. He just passed, but I'm trying to get another dog, though. I need another dog, so looking for one. If you guys know any rescues or anything, let me know. Okay. Love to pick one up.
Okay, might have one for you.
Parents are probably going to be too happy with that. But it's okay.
What's your biggest fear?
Heights. Hate roller coasters. I hate that. Not a fan of those things.
I'm with you.
You know what? I could say a joke, heights, when with him, because I always kind of kid him about his height, and now we just got early on in the season we had Coffee here, who was, I think he was like 6'6", and now we got Josh LaBelle, so we're going to put a picture of him and Josh together. So I think now I understand. So we like to give him a little jab every once in a while about his height. So, but I won't say that.
It's okay.
Okay.
I try not to show these off early, but we did get this one early, so I've let Coach think about this one. This question says, Coach, who is your favorite Thunderbirds fan?
You know, that's a loaded question, okay? And I'm going to go, and I thought about it for a second, and I'm going to have to say my daughter and my grandson and the wife. But you know what, and I've mentioned it many times, one of the things that keeps me coming back here and everything like that is all the fans here. So I'm going to just say basically everybody that supports us is a great fan. But if I don't point out my daughter and grandson and the warden, I'd be in trouble, because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here either.
Yeah. I asked this sort of earlier, Mikey, but how do you like being a Thunderbird so far? What's the experience been like?
I love it. When I signed here, I got nothing but good things said about this place. The Leonard twins, they reached out to you. They told me right away, this place is a great spot. And honestly, it's exceeded like all of my expectations of this spot. Like, when you come to a new league, you really don't know what to expect. Like, they made fun of me. I called Coach, like, do I need to bring my own bed and stuff? And you really don't know what to expect. And honestly, I love it here, and it really sucks you in here. And I like it in the way that we're treated here and everything. And we got a good like fans and boosters behind us, which you really don't get at certain spots. So I love it.
Absolutely. What's your favorite thing about Winston-Salem? Do you have a favorite thing so far?
I mean, so far it's just the fans and the hockey, but it's still early, so I gotta find my spots. I do have another a cafe. It's a Young Cardinal Cafe. That's a good spot.
I've been there a time or two. It is. Coach, we have a question for you. What kind of chewing gum do you like? This fan knows that you were chomping pretty hard on Friday night.
Yeah, pretty well anything. I'll chew anything really. I'm not big on bubble gum, because after about 2 or 3 minutes, it gets so hard. So just any kind of gum I usually chew, and that's one of the things a lot of people mentioned, that they said you were a little uptight last night, and I said, well, how'd you know? And they're going, the gums were going like this, 100 miles an hour, and then you had about 19 cough candies in one period. So they kind of know what. And one night I thought I was pretty calm, and they said, you were really uptight last night. And I said, no, I didn't think so. And they go, yeah, your gum was going like this, and you threw in cough candies like that. So I guess that's a tale if I'm the heart's beating a little bit more than I want to.
Mikey, who's your favorite NHL team?
I mean, I really don't have a favorite team, but I guess I'd go with the Devils, New Jersey Devils.
That was going to be my guess. Coach, what about you?
It's just guys that I've either coached, or like right now I got a bunch of guys that are high up in the Pittsburgh organization, and they're good friends, and so I kind of watch them more than probably other people, because I talk to them quite a bit. So probably Pittsburgh if you had to do it.
Mikey, what's been your favorite hockey moment so far? Favorite memory?
What, this year or just all time?
All time. What's your favorite hockey memory? Maybe not even
favorite
playing.
One probably when they do like a Might on Ice, and they did like whoever like scores a goal or whatever, and I got interviewed, but I had a really bad interview. So when I went out there, everyone remembered me because of how bad it was. So when I was like 8 years old, and they were like, good interview, Mania, and I was like at an NFL or NHL game, so it was pretty cool.
That's good.
What's been the transition from college to pro? How's that been so far for you?
I mean, I love it so far. It's different style of play. Like D3, like NCAA is more like kind of muck and grind, dump and chase. This is more possession and better IQ plays, and I like this style of play a lot more than the college style of play.
What was it like to play with Cade in college?
that was fun. I've been with him. We were in the same class, and we took our 5th year together. He was the captain. I was the assistant captain, and playing with him, he's a good. Doesn't speak that much, but he leads by example, just the way he is.
Another one here. If you weren't playing hockey, what would you be doing?
I'd be racing. I got my first quad when I was 3 years old. I grew up racing, like riding dirt bikes and quads and stuff, so I always wanted to do that if I wasn't playing hockey.
Has there been a veteran on the team that's taking you under their wing yet?
I mean, Schnapp's younger than me, but I live with him, and he's been in this league for 5 years. I didn't really know that when I first came in. I thought he was much older than me.
Right.
And then when I found out, and then you got guys like Boots, like right away before I got here, he reached out to me, and having a guy like that is a great leader. Same thing with us forward too. There's 2 guys that just lead by example, and anything you need, they're right there. Same thing with like Whitey too, like right away. He's a little guy like me, so on the ice, I ask certain things with him, and it's a good guy to look up to as well.
And you know, when a young guy says those things, and it makes me feel good, because I know, and I've said this many times about our leadership group, about our older guys. They run the team. They drive the boat, and you know, maybe I might be the captain, but they drive the ship for us, and you know, they take these young guys under the wings, and it's not easy to come into our team. As I said, this year maybe a little easier compared to other years when you have a lot of guys that have been around for a long time. So and it's not that they don't like other guys. It's just they're kind of set in their ways and the way we've done things. So, but as I said, the way the young guys and the older guys have meshed in together is, as I said, things I've noticed that other people don't. As I said, I'm really happy the way things are starting to click.
And we have a question about Joe Kennedy and where he's been, and I know that goes along with some of the same things you were just saying.
Yeah, well, he's a guy that you know, I was counting on this year, and he's been a big part. I think he was here 2 years before I was here, maybe 1 year. I think maybe 2 years before I got here, and he did a great job when I was here. And you know, he just, life changes, and he moved on and got a full-time job, and. You know, we miss him. He's a great guy in the locker room. He's a great player. As I said, I don't know if I ever heard a bad word about Joe Kennedy. So he's missed. He's missed greatly. He's you know, a good defenseman, and he's a tough guy too, and fought really well last year. But just a great guy, and did a great job. And as I said, we miss him, but we wish him all the luck. He's moved on in life, and things like that happen.
This question, we were actually talking about this off the air earlier during commercial break, but someone wants to know about the referee assignments, and do you typically have the same refs for both games on a weekend? How does that work? Was that the case this past weekend as well?
Well, it was this weekend, and sometimes you get different guys. Sometimes you know, the problem with our league is the travel is so hard. You know, you don't want someone to go into Pee Dee one night and then have to drive here the next night and all that. So a lot of times you're going to get the same group twice, or you know, sometimes they'll change it up from night to night, especially if you go north where maybe it's a little closer. But normally you get the same guys 2 nights in a row, and hopefully after the first night, sometimes you get a little different look. That's all.
Mikey, someone wants to know about, did you choose number 25? Was it given to you? How did you that?
I picked number 25. There was a few numbers. I was going to do either 17, that was my college number, but I was 25 years ago in high school, and I figured to go back to my old ways. So.
Sounds good. And then a lot of folks have been enjoying our social media videos, so we have a few questions about these. We'll take turns here. Mikey, can you please explain how would you take on a grizzly bear, as that was your answer in the video?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's a moment you want back.
Yeah. Well, you said lion. You said lion.
Well,
so.
I'm going to explain lioness here in a second, okay?
But I don't know. It'd have to be spared in the moment. I don't know how I'd do it, but I would get it done.
That was the next question. They wanted to know why Coach thought he could take on a lion.
Because, you know, the warden sometimes a lion, so I said lioness. I thought it was lioness, not lion, so that's what I went with the warden on that one.
Question about how was it for Jacob carrying you in the video as well, right?
Yeah. So.
He
was, I mean, it was pretty looked pretty easy for him. When I saw Roman, he was picking up hips. That looked a little heavy, but for Schnapp, that looked pretty light for him.
And I think that's it. The only other question was for me about my preparation for games and how I get the pronunciations for the visiting players. Typically in this league, we will exchange our rosters earlier in the week, Monday, Tuesday. Everyone's been very nice about if you have any questions, let me know. And so we go through that process pretty early. I also take notes and have like a spotting chart that I work with during the game. So I actually have those in front of me. And so that's just, kind of how I handle things here. But that's a good question as well. Coach, we talk about preparation, and we can ask Mikey the same question. Once you get into a routine, I would imagine that, your preparation for your opponent, for practice, for your own team, probably doesn't change too much day to day. I'd imagine just, we're all kind of creatures of habit. Once we get into those routines, it seems like it's kind of the way it is throughout the week.
Yeah, you do. You kind of do the same thing. Like today is more of a day where, like yesterday we had an optional skate on Monday, and then we did hot yoga in the afternoon, and so Tuesday is kind of the day to get your feel for the puck, get your legs going, get into the game, and tomorrow is as I've told the guys, Wednesday, Thursday is my day. And that's the day we work. We do systems, we do battling, we do a lot of different things. And then Thursday is, we do power play and breakouts and things like that. So more system-wise and things like that, and get ready for Friday. So it's kind of worked. As I said, I'm not sure. Maybe I have to change a couple things up here as we go along. But right now, I think once you get in that routine and guys understand it and they know how to handle it or whatever, I guess the best way to do it is it's worked, and we kind of will go along with that.
Mikey, how about you? What's your preparation like through the week? And maybe this goes back to the question about adjusting from college hockey to pro hockey and learning how to be a young pro.
Yeah, I keep it pretty simple. Same thing with practices and stuff. I like to go there early, stretch, and then after that go to steam room or something. That's every day throughout the week. And then on game days, it's just simple. Go get something to eat early in the morning, watch movies, and then head to the rink. So it's real simple.
Sounds good. All right, as always, everyone, thanks for your questions. We're going to take one last break and come back. Thank you.
Flow Offer to Purchase makes it easy for you to generate an appraisal for a vehicle online in under 5 minutes. You can confidently use Flow Offer to Purchase to determine your vehicle's trade-in value or to get a real offer to sell it to us. Here at Flow, we've always had a transparent, interactive appraisal process that our customers love. We developed our Flow Offer to Purchase tool to offer you that same great experience online or through our Flow Garage app anytime, anywhere. Using Flow Offer to Purchase is simple. Either enter your license plate number or VIN, and the system will pull up basic information about your vehicle. Some vehicles have options or extras that need to be selected in order to pull an accurate value. Then just tell us about the current condition of a few things like your tires, dents and scratches, or mechanical issues. From there, a real offer on your vehicle, whether you buy from us or not, is just a click away. Just a heads up, our staff will check over your vehicle to ensure your Flow Offer to Purchase is accurate. Your satisfaction is our priority. Flow Automotive dealerships have processed tens of thousands of vehicles using Flow Offer to Purchase, which has resulted in buying many thousands of cars from customers. Try Flow Offer to Purchase for free today. You can access this tool by clicking Sell Trade on flowauto.com or your dealer site by starting the Sell Trade dialog in the center of the homepage.
Finish strong. Start here. Atrium Health Wake Forest Baptist.
All right, everyone, thanks for joining us tonight at Dave & Buster's. We appreciate it. Thanks to Michael Mania for being here. Our player guest tonight did a great job. Coach, before we go, we'll talk about the upcoming series against Pee Dee. 7:35 on Friday night, 6:05 on Saturday. Superhero Night is the promotion for Friday's game. Slapshot Night is the promotion for Saturday's game. But the Pee Dee IceCats returned to town. You had them in here for the opening weekend of the season, back-to-back games. They've obviously continued to play pretty well. You had the one loss and the one win last time you played them. What are you expecting this weekend?
Well, they got a highly skilled team. They got a lot of veterans who've been in the league or higher the last few years, and if we don't play well defensively, and the one thing I'm probably more excited not what they're going to come into this weekend is how we're going to respond. You know, as I said, we made a lot of changes today. You know, 3 guys are out, but you know, we brought 1 in, and it just you know, like from last week there, you know, Nate was out for a couple games, and you know, now he's back, and then Schnappy was out for, you know, suspended, and now he's back, and just our team all of a sudden, you know, the puzzle pieces are starting to fit a little bit better. So I'm probably, as I said, I know what they're going to come in. They're a good hockey team, and if we don't play well when we don't have the puck and we let them freewheel and dangle the way they want to dangle and play a very up-tempo type of game, then we're going to be chasing them a lot all night. And so when we have the puck, we want to do what we should do naturally and you know, keep possession of the puck. But as I said, when we don't have the puck, we've got to be pretty disciplined, because they're a type of team that I guess liberties are cheating, I guess maybe the word is, and to get that goal. And usually when teams do that, if you're really good defensively, then a lot of times we score goals on them. So it'll be a great test. They got a good team, and as I said, I'm probably more excited about the Thunderbirds and how we're going to look this weekend, and how we're going to respond from you know, the way, you know, we came back from last Friday to Saturday, but you know, just because we won last Saturday doesn't mean it's going to happen this Friday. We've got to regroup. We've got to come together. So, and we talk about that every day, I think. So it's how these young guys and how all our guys are going to respond as a team this week. That's I'm more excited about that. But it should be a great weekend. As I said, the last time we played this team, I thought they were 2 great hockey games, and I expect the same this weekend.
Mikey, thanks for joining us tonight. What would you like to say to the fans before we leave?
Thank you guys for having me, and thank you for coming out.
All right, everyone. Thank you.
I just want to know, in the morning, do you think he's going to be wearing a Yankee hat, or do you think he'll be wearing something else?
It's not going to be a Yankees hat.
It probably won't be. It probably won't be a Yankee cap, you know, next time. So, but thanks for coming, Mikey, and thanks for everybody coming.
Thank you.